Yo, we are live. It's been a minute. Nice to hang out with y'all again. So, there's so much I'd love to share about. I have just had a beautiful, beautiful day. I have just recently gotten back to Atlanta after 3 months away. During these 3 months, I was in the Amazon rainforest for just under a month and a half, and in Los Angeles for just over a month and a half. Where am I right now? Well, so happy you asked. I am two things presently on my mind. One, it's a quarter moon, and to me, this means basically I've got creative challenges that I like to do. I conduct these experiments where at the end of the experiment, I set like a container of it starts here, ends here. During this time, I'm going to experiment with a ritual or a practice to get a specific output. And right now, the output is this live performance that I'm doing in Napa Valley at the end of August. And I'm quite nervous for it because I feel like I have so much to do in so little time. I want to do all of this new material that I'm still writing, and the fact that it's like a month out and I'm like still writing it, I feel like I said yes to something because it arose through the universe as an opportunity, and I was like, fuck yeah. Also knowing that this next chapter of my life, I do want to orient towards live performance, and man, there really is so much I'd love to share with you. Life's crazy. Life is really extraordinary. Why am I pursuing and interested in live performance? I'll say this to begin. I've played guitar since I was in first grade. So when I started it was always something that I did alone in my room. I was terrified of playing for people. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I started to take music as this, like, I began to recognize that there was a great depth of myself that I could learn to access and cultivate through music and share through music. There was some language that I could speak and express through sound that I just felt was almost deeper than the other mediums. And so I, through the years, have just been doing it more and more. And this past year, I've been really focused in a live context, meaning after doing a whole bunch of production stuff, I've stripped back and have really just been working with my voice and guitar, wanting to tune my body, my being, my capacity, this instrument, this musical instrument, as like, what can you wield within your body now? I've been really I've and this is interesting because it has come from a combination of desire and frustration, my orientation in this direction. Desire is like, I desire to embody the musical potential that I have, and frustration because I've always felt like actually fearful of and frustrated that music has been such a big thing for me for such a long time, but I was never really able to like just play songs. I felt retarded for a really long time, and I don't feel retarded this year because I've just been writing a ton of music and learning how to play it. And I think I really got into music through improvisation with my guitar and voice, and that became a beautiful place for me. still is different. And I was always really frustrated that like when I was just improvising, sometimes I would really hit it and sometimes I wouldn't quite. And so I felt like I didn't stand on stable ground when it came to the kind of music that I could perform live. Um, so it's like when there's a guitar in a place, it's just like I didn't necessarily have like a bag of songs that I could just, I wasn't a song carrier. And after taking a pause with production, I just oriented myself in this direction. I've written a lot. I've had an incredible passage this year writing this body of music. Love it. And now I'm in an era. I wrote a bunch of music. I told myself that I wanted to get the first body of it live recorded, done on YouTube, and pushed out. And I did that just before I left to the Amazon. And then when I was in the Amazon, I wrote a bunch, and I utilized those creative experimental containers as a way to structure myself in that process of finishing writing the music, then learning how to play it well, and then performing it until I got a take that I like. And that was fairly rigorous for me. It was cool. It's really, it was a big growth curve. You know, like it allowed me to relate to music from a more performative or athletic point of view, where it's all about training the body to get that take, you know, and really feel the song. I needed to know these songs at a level that I just hadn't learned to know any other songs before. And that felt and feels like depth within this ability to know the signal, to connect with the transmission of Isaiah and Azira that move through me, and to place emphasis upon playing perfectly or playing it correctly or playing it with deep presence, which comes from first knowing the song fully and then going into getting to go into all the nuances because I already know the song. So I got to learn so much from that experience of, and I got a bunch of songs under my belt at the end of the day, which was awesome. So I went to the Amazon. I wrote a bunch of new music, which is the purpose of the trip. And I went to LA, wrote some more music, and now I've got some new songs. And it really, it's so fun. It is all it all has a thread. This journey of these acoustic tunes really holds a thread of I was there, then there, then there, then there, then there, and I like it. I like it a lot. It starts in despair, fall of God, tragedy, heartbreak, crash spaceship. I'm a wreck. I don't have any hope. I'm lost. I'm fucked. Goliath. Love you. And then it transitions into it's like marks. It plots the points in between being completely lost and finding the presence of myself again. So I really cherish that passage. It means the world to me because it's been a big part of my life to be lost and then find myself. And it's like, yeah. But to have these waypoints in between, I really don't know where to go, but then I have these lyrics that speak, hey, Jay, I've been here before, man. And I know this place, and I've always found my way back home. That is precious to me. That and it goes beyond expression to me, and it goes into technology. When I can see so clearly, I've been here before, and also I've here's the route that I took last time. It's not like a love letter to myself of just like, hey Jay, it's gonna be okay. It's actually like, I can sing these things, and these things are really potent for me to sing in that sense. And I hope one day for them to be, no, they already have been. I'd like to share that. So I finished the songs, wrote some new ones, Amazon, da-da-da-da. And it's just been clear to me, like, okay, it's been clear to me, honestly, even before I left the Amazon. There's been a lot of contemplation and stewing and stuff going on inside of, like, what's next and how I want to move and what do I want to do and da-da-da-da-da. But I've really always known, like, live performance is the next direction. And I've been very inspired by Ren, by buskers. I've always had this busking fantasy. That I've never fulfilled. The first time I tried to fulfill it was my Nomad Sedona expedition. I didn't busk once. It's 111. Why did I not busk once? I don't really know, but ultimately I think it's just, it comes from fear. It comes from a combination of like calling and fear. And I feel like now I've got a foundation beneath my feet. And it's not like I haven't performed. I've performed quite a bit. That said, I've never been in a groove in life where I'm regularly performing. Every time I do perform, it's like, it's something really special. And may it always be that way, but it's never been a regular thing. And I think what's interesting to me right now is making it a regular thing and making it going beyond, man, it is a different thing. Performing is different. Performing, like, you can't just practice in your room and then expect it to sound like that when you go out. It's just a whole different field of energy, and then, like, I want to practice with that field of energy. And I'm going to hold this thread of just what happened tonight. And I'm going to include Vajrayana. Rum. Pretty good. Zaya. Nice. I'm more of a whiskey guy myself, but this is hitting the spot, I will say. Man, I've been on such a journey. I really am happy to talk to you again. I can't really overstate the level of conflict that actually resides inside me when it comes to music. On so many levels, it's such a complex relationship and really cool because of it, but I just remember from being so young, I was terrified of sharing music with people. Like, I would, if there was a guitar in the room, I would just beg for them not to play me, and if they did, I was like, oh, fuck. And that's changed a lot, right? Like, I've pushed myself to just dive into it, and I've done performances on all kinds of levels, and I've done everything from, like, oh my fucking god, I'm a god after these performances, to I totally bombed a couple times. And it feels like it just holds the full spectrum for me. Azira is the title that I create with, and it really is its own spiritual path to me. It's like this is the way that I walk to God, and learn what that means in my own way. Through Azira, I feel like I've long time been studying all of these other religions, spiritual paths, methods to mastery, approaches to life, and I've been synthesizing them, tuning into things that resonate with me, experimenting with different ideas and seeing how they feel and live within my body. And in the recent days, I've been creating this document that essentially, like, I've just been down this rabbit hole and super inspired to create a document that presents Azira as its own method, its own pathway to embody our potential, to connect with our enlightenment. I just saw this David Lynch. Highly recommend looking up David Lynch describes transcendental meditation. He has such a beautiful, eloquent, and effective presentation of what consciousness is, what God is, and how we can connect to God and better our lives and the lives of all people in humanity. And he presents this demonstration with transcendental meditation as the vehicle through which to better the lives of all. And I love the presentation. Fuck yes to transcendental meditation. And I recognize, and I know he recognizes, all of these different methods and paths are all looking at the same thing, which is like the deep self, that God state, and saying, here's how you can access it. Transcendental meditation is great because the method is so simple, it is so direct. It's like, just meditate, say your mantra, and you'll get there. You'll get what I'm saying. It's a very effective technology, and I fuck with it because of that. At the same time, I love mythology. I was at a where was I? I went to a kirtan gathering at a Hare Krishna ashram today. It's like my first adventure. I had a blast. I loved the energy moving through that room, and I had great conversations with the people there. And I just had so much fun with the music. And I fuck with Hinduism. I love the Hindu pantheon. I love the Greek pantheon. I love Egypt. I love gods. And I write about them. And it connects with me. I love... Okay, so I went to this place today, right? And they also meditate. And they also have all of this mythology. And I think all of these paths have introductions and advanced techniques, and probably the majority of people, all they really need is the basic technique. And transcendental meditation is a demonstration of spiritual technology, which means a vehicle through which consciousness, a method through which consciousness can travel and evolve. I love what he's doing in this presentation, and I have a different vehicle, and I call it a Zyra. And over the past many months, for the past many years, I've been experimenting with this stuff, but the past few days I've been writing this document that basically just explains these different paths, religions, approaches that I've really resonated through the years, that I've learned a lot from through the years, and pulls them together and says, the synthesis of this is a Zyra. Now, a Zyra isn't just a synthesis of the things that resonate. It's where all these lines connect are the things that scream true for me. And when I apply the things that scream true, a method very potently reveals itself. And it's something that I've been doing for a long time. It feels like a fossil. Like I've discovered a fossil in the terrain of my mind, and for 10 years I've been digging this thing up. And there's a way, and it's shared itself to be a very complicated and intricate way, which transcendental meditation does not seem very complicated, and I think that's also why it's very effective. So respect to that. At the same time, Hare Krishna isn't that complicated. Well, okay, it's got the complication of the Hindu mythology, as well as the Hare Krishna chant that they use has been the same for like 5,000 years. If it slaps through the centuries, yeah. I have a simple and a complex version. The simple is just like do the thing that calls you and scares you. And the complex is a Zyra mythology, which really just discusses the process of like going through evolution and this great journey of life, which I think ultimately all of these things are about. I say all this. I have such intense nerves when it comes to the performance of these songs, busking. I don't know why I do, but I do. And most of the times I've played these songs, it's turned out fine. Good. Great. Okay. Sometimes. That's the range. It's not like fucking terrible yet. But, meh. I'm doing this as I'm learning how to do this music thing as an offering to God. I'm learning how to do this music thing as a way to reveal myself and be vulnerable and naked in space for others to witness, and hopefully they can take inspiration to be themselves through that. That's my interest. Intermingled with that is my ego. My ego is frantic. It wants to be praised and worshipped. It wants recognition. It wants security. It wants money. I want all of those things too. Learning how to hold myself when I play music from that place of, for lack of a better term, because I think the term's a little convoluted, prayer. Learning how to hold myself in a state of presence and spaciousness and divine communion, connection. Learning how to greet that place of, I'm here to connect with God on a daily basis. Learning how to approach that place in a sacred way. So that I may reach into the depth rather than just play pitter-patter on the surface. And the interesting thing about music is it's like there are so many people that are great technically. And I worship that because I've come from the other side of the equation of like, I'm not trained. I've done a lot of creation. I think I've always lacked technical depth, and that is something that I hold in high priority right now. I've always had a whole lot to say, but in some way lacked the technical depth to really express it. And I also appreciate where I come from because it's a unique perspective. You know, it's like I've always seen it. I've always heard it. I've always been tapped into depth, and now I'm like just learning how to speak English and communicate it. That said, though that's like overall a way that my life forms and has come into being, a lot of people go the opposite direction, which is like technical depth and proficiency, but not necessarily like saying anything new and different. And right, both have their places and their ways and they're beautiful, blah blah blah. My interest now is to express and share from my depth, because I feel and sense and see from all of these different cross-cultural mythologies that there is this divine kingdom inside us that we can all learn how to access. And my life's work seems to be about learning how to connect to these the most intimate place within myself and share from there. That's it. That is a horrifying thing to do, and my interest is to just get comfortable at doing that. And I'm learning. I really am. My interest is to dive into the real, and I have felt the presence of evolution in this process for me in such a dramatic way. And I do want to share that, but really I want to it's honestly, it's a big thing for me is getting over insecurity. What it feels like to share my work. What it feels like to not get validation or get validation both can flare me up in negative ways. Sometimes I'm not affected. It's almost always the wild relationship. Let's just say that. I love this shit. I'm so happy to have the opportunity in life to do it. Of course I want money. I got money tonight. I got $20. That's cool. I hope I didn't lose it. Oh shit. Dude. Totally. I think I lost it. That's so stupid. Retarded. Totally lost it. Well, food for the gods. That is a grace of a saying. Food for the gods. C'est la vie is what it is. Actually, food for the gods is better than is what it is. Because if you give them offerings, it's gonna rain that golden nectar. So tonight, actually even before tonight, since I've been back home, and I haven't been in a routine for a long time, since I've been traveling. Since I've been back home, I've been reestablishing my routine, and I can watch myself procrastinating, practicing my set. And procrastination can even take place within music, where it's like, instead of practicing my set, I'll just do scales and warm-ups, or just scales, guitar and singing, and have a great time in music, but not actually doing the thing that I have that's most important, and I also have like fear around. And I've been watching all of the different unique ways that I'll procrastinate with this thing that is clearly the most important thing to me right now. And a fundamental tenet of Azaira is like, do the thing that scares you. Like, that is where your evolution is. If like transcendental meditation presents this one form of do this and you'll evolve, I say yes, and this is great too. And do this and you'll evolve. Do the thing that you know you need to do. Meditate too. That's great. It's only going to help a fuck ton. Today is the quarter moon. So basically, for a long time, I've been orienting my creative cycles based upon the moon. So full moon, new moon. And when I have bigger projects, I'll typically be like, okay, there's this many moon cycles in between that. So here's what I'm doing for a long period of time. Here are my moon point check-ins, and then I'm also doing these quarter moon check-ins, which is what the inspiration for this whole video is a quarter moon check-in, which is like essentially a week long. How'd this week go? This week I've been procrastinating a lot, but also found it. I've done, like, I feel like I'm on the other side of that. I don't want to look. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Okay. There's so much here, man. It really is crazy. And today, and I've been hungry to just go. I've been hungry for spiritual knowledge in a unique way. I was even like diving deep into Charles Manson's path, this serial killer, being like, oh, he's actually onto some things. I don't know. That was rabbit hole. But I love Vajrayana. Vajrayana is an ancient Tibetan form of yoga, which takes like ancient Tibetan shamanism, Bun, and harmonizes it with Buddhism and Tantra from India. And it creates Vajrayana and 3 other paths of Tibetan Buddhism, but Vajrayana in particular is known as the Diamond Vias. And Vajra is something that I have loved for a long time. I've been working with this thing way before I knew what it was. I love it. It has always been my thing. I love it. Like, when I held this thing, I knew I wanted one, and then when I held it, I was like, so, what is Vajrayana? Vajrayana presents itself as a direct path. Tantric in the sense that it is a direct path to enlightenment, which is essentially all about recognizing, like, peeling away the veil. We are already Buddhas, but it's just about learning how to tune ourselves to the recognition, the awareness of this Buddha body. And it has all of these practices which, for example, visualize these deities, these gods, as a reflection of the self, and by meditating and contemplating and going on these unique and sometimes very often absurd journeys with these deities, that they have basically created this map of, like, you can unlock and open yourself and become who you truly are. So all of these different bodies of paths and religions and spirituality and methods that I've been studying seem to say the same thing, in that there is this, like, great source of divinity that we're all connected to, and we can cultivate, develop a relationship with this intelligence from which we emerge from, and can better our lives and the lives of all humanity and all sentient beings as a result. And so they all aim to do this thing through different methods. It's like they all have different words. We're all looking at the same thing, just from different angles. All angles can present valid ways. I feel my way has revealed itself, and it is Desira. And Desira looks very similar to ancient Tibetanism, Vajrayana. And what I love about Vajrayana is it really takes a pretty extreme approach. That's like, this path is actually kind of dangerous. Because if you do it wrong or half-ass it, you can probably go insane. The practices are intense. Chud, for example, is a practice in which that I've actually really fought with, but it's, this good. You go through repeated long visualization processes of cutting up your body and offering it as a soup to all beings in all realms. It's this, like, idea of self-immolation, self-sacrifice. I don't know if they'd call it self-sacrifice, but that's what you're doing when you're chopping up your body and cooking a stew out of it. And it invites you to feed demons your flesh, to go to the graveyards, go to the places that scare you, and offer yourself to the spirits and the energies of these spaces. That's crazy. that's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I've always gravitated towards that method. And I was just doing these things way before I had anyone else to say like, oh, that is a way. And it's interesting how I've developed a whole relationship with these things of like processing, swallowing demons of this world. Most of the time, cool. Sometimes, fuck shit. Evolve. Rite of passage. Anywho, it's such a gift to know the place to go. This entices me, this scares me, that's where to go. When I lean in and do it, today, life responds so generously. I don't expect this. I've learned not to expect it. Today was really a gift. It's like I get to interface with the world. When I go out, I meet people. I just meet I met so many people today. From the Hare Krishnas. Then I go out with my guitar. I'm like, okay, it's the quarter moon. I said I'd busk. It's time to busk. We need to bust these songs. And I go out and there's a fucking jam circle happening at the park that I just stay at for 2 hours. Then I go bust to the streets in like Atlanta, people walking, people hopping in and rapping with me. And I'm just learning how to like hold it down. Like how to, sometimes I'll have this thing where it's like, I'll be playing a song and then all of a sudden I'll notice somebody's there and I mess it up. And it's learning how to stay in connection. And it's a little schism, but it's like my interest is to get more comfortable with being out and playing and remove this, I don't know if it's a remove the nervousness or like just I want to become more familiar with it. And I have found for a really long time that when I play in the world, things happen. I meet people, connections, da-da-da. It's like I'm in a different game, and I have historically had such a reluctance to go play in the world, even though I would do it at different times. Like music and creation and where I reside tends to be in a very solitary place. And it's a wild thing for me to feel like, oh, now it's time to get cozy playing out. And it's so uncomfortable for me, man, to like just be self-motivated to go out busking tonight. Was like, I was actually watching the energy that rose in me like, oh, this is interesting. This is the spot. This is exactly what you need to be doing. And what's happening right now is exactly what we're talking about. And I was able to kind of take that backseat POV and just observe it, and like it was pretty fun. I had fun with it. I was nervous and stuff, but I had a great time tonight and met a lot of cool people, and really am grateful for this opportunity in life to just do this, to feel called and inspired, to feel the urge to do this. And it's all about just like learning how to stay in contact with the helm, with the deep self, while I'm out there with other people. And for whatever reason, that is difficult for me, and so I have avoided it. Not fully, but yeah. So, that's where I'm at. I'm enjoying the process. I don't really see that this performance that I have next month, there's logically it doesn't really make sense that this will go well, just given how long it takes to learn songs for me and like where the songs are at, just seeing this whole set. Logical side of me is like, this ain't gonna work. Mm-mm. The other side of me is like, I'm gonna make it work, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be cool, and it's also just like learning how to like not make it such a big thing. If this goes great or if this goes horrible or somewhere in between, it's like, man, I've had so many different iterations of myself being like, give me a sign, give me a sign, give me a sign. You know, just like, fuck that shit. It's just like, this is what you're doing, this is what you're here to do. It's not about going super high or going super low, depending on how it goes. It's just like, thread, baby, thread. I love this shit. I'm having so much fun. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Wow. Cool. Talk to you later.